We are about to dive into one of the most incredible stories of human endurance you will ever hear. It's the story of a man who literally vanished from the world, swallowed whole by the ocean, only to reappear more than a decade later as a living legend.
It all starts with this number right here, 4,380. Now, that's not a year, it's not a coordinate. It's the number of days a man spent utterly and completely alone, totally cut off from all of humanity.
That's right, we're talking 12 years. Just imagine that for a second. 12 years of hearing only the sound of your own voice, of waking up to the same unchanging horizon, of fighting tooth and nail for your life every single day. This is the story of those 4,380 days. So, to even begin to understand how someone could endure this, we've got to rewind. We have to go back to the beginning, meet the man himself, and learn about the voyage that would seal his fate. Picture it. It's 1907. The maps of the world still had these big, mysterious white spaces, uncharted territories that were a siren song for adventurers like Captain Elias Monroe. He was a seasoned English sailor, but he wasn't looking for gold or glory. No, he was hunting for the unknown itself, and he set his course for the vast, mysterious South Pacific. And look, Monroe knew the risks. He wasn't naive. But those calm, beautiful turquoise waters of the South Pacific, they can fool you. Because hidden just beneath the surface is a raw, untamable power that no sailor, no matter how skilled, can ever truly control. And that hidden danger, it struck without any warning at all. A storm of just unbelievable violence came down on his ship. It wasn't even a fight. It was a complete annihilation. The ship was torn to splinters. The crew was lost to the churning black water, and Captain Monroe was thrown into the abyss. But here's the thing. Washing up on a beach wasn't the end of his nightmare. Oh no. For Captain Monroe, it was just the beginning of a brand new war, the battle for life itself. He woke up on a tiny, deserted island. He was the only one. He had no tools, no food, no one. Can you imagine the wave of despair that must have washed over him? But giving up, that just wasn't in his DNA. The fight for his life started that very second. So what do you do? Well, his sailor's training just kicked right in. His priorities were methodical, almost instinctual. First, shelter, a simple lean-to built from whatever the beach offered. Next, water, figuring out the tricky art of cracking open coconuts. And finally, food, mastering the brutal, messy business of catching fish with his bare hands. But survival wasn't just about finding stuff. It was a constant 24/7 war against the island itself. Vicious storms could wipe out all his hard work in an instant. Giant waves were a constant threat, ready to drag him back out to sea. And he had no idea what kind of dangers were lurking just beyond the tree line. But then, after that initial desperate scramble for life, something really incredible started to happen. Monroe didn't just survive on his island. He started to master it. He transformed it into his own lonely little kingdom. And this is such a crucial shift in the story. You see him transform from a survivor who's just fighting the elements to a ruler who actually masters them. That primitive leaf shelter, it becomes a permanent driftwood home. Hunting just to stay alive, that evolves into cultivating actual gardens. He wasn't just existing anymore, he was building a life there. And this was about so much more than physical survival. This was about keeping his mind, his humanity from breaking.
He explored and mapped out every inch of his tiny kingdom. He cultivated life with his gardens. And get this, he even managed to tame some of the island's small animals for companionship. To fight that crushing silence, he carved his story and the passing days into stone, a silent message, just in case.
Just try to wrap your head around the sheer amount of time we're talking about here. That first year was pure, raw survival. But by year 3, he's an explorer. By year 6, he's a farmer with routines. By year 10, he's even found a way to have companionship. And yet through all of it, for 12 straight years, every single day was defined by one soul-crushing fact: that empty, unchanging horizon. But after 12 years of silence, after more than 4,000 sunrises over an empty ocean, the climax of this unbelievable story finally arrives. I mean, really think about that for a second. Put yourself in his shoes. After that long, with absolutely no reason to believe anything will ever change, where do you even find the hope for rescue? How do you not give up? For 12 years, every single day, that line where the sky met the sea was empty. It was his prison wall. But on one particular morning, that wall was about to break. Just a tiny speck, a little smudge against the endless blue. But to Monroe, it was everything. It was a ship. It was a chance. It was the world finally coming back for him. He channeled every last ounce of energy he had. This was it, his one shot. In a final desperate act of survival, he gathered every piece of wood he could find and lit a huge signal fire, sending a column of smoke billowing into the sky. It was a prayer made of ash and hope, and someone saw it. So he finally returned to England in 1919. He had set sail in 1907. In the 12 years he was gone, the world had fought the Great War. It was a world that had moved on, mourned him, and then completely forgotten him. He returned like a ghost from another time, a man completely and fundamentally changed by his solitude. But, he didn't just come back with a wild story. He returned with knowledge. He brought back priceless information about unknown islands, unique plants he discovered, and a first-hand account of survival that just blew the minds of the scientific community. His personal nightmare became a profound gift to the world that had left him for dead. He lived out the rest of his days as a true legend, the man who was lost to the world and somehow found his way back, the castaway captain who stared into the void for 12 years and absolutely refused to blink. Monroe's story is just the ultimate tale of resilience. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? We all face our own storms in life, our own challenges that feel impossible. His story kind of forces us to ask ourselves, what new knowledge, what hidden strength, what new version of ourselves is just waiting on the other side of that struggle?